Before we begin with the story, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It helps us know what kind of content you guys like the most and what we need to improve on. Now let's begin. I was just surfing the dark web out of curiosity, looking for something interesting but not too shady. You know, like weird conspiracy theories and all. But then, I stumbled upon something that made my heart stop. Classified US government documents. I couldn't believe it at first. There they were, just sitting on this obscure forum like they were any old PDFs. They had all sorts of crazy stuff. Details about secret operations, lists of covert agents, and even some high-level diplomatic communications. I knew I shouldn't, but curiosity got the better of me. I downloaded a few files just to see if they were legit. For the next few days, I was glued to my screen, reading through these documents. It was like a real-life spy novel unfolding before my eyes. I felt like I was in over my head, but couldn't pull myself away. It was insane. Then, out of nowhere, my laptop screen went black. A minute later, it rebooted, but everything was different. My files were gone, and my browser history was wiped clean. I felt this cold dread creeping in. I thought maybe I'd been hacked, but I never imagined the reality of the situation. The next morning, while I was getting ready for work, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find two men in suits standing there, flashing badges from some agency I'd never heard of. They asked to come in, and before I could even process what was happening, they were inside my apartment, closing the door behind them. One of them, Agent Miller, started asking questions right away. "Do you know why we're here?" he asked. I shook my head, my mouth dry. The other agent, Agent Davis, was already in my living room, pulling out some device from a briefcase. It looked like some high-tech scanner or something. "We have reason to believe you've accessed and downloaded classified documents from a secure government database," Agent Miller continued. "This is a serious offense." I felt my stomach drop. I tried to explain that I didn't mean any harm, that I was just curious, but they weren't having any of it. They confiscated my laptop, my phone, and even some of my notebooks where I'd jotted down notes about the documents. I was in shock. They told me to stay put and wait for further instructions, that someone would be in touch, and just like that, they left. I sat there in my apartment, my mind racing. What the hell had I gotten myself into? For the next few days, I barely slept. Every knock on the door, every phone call made my heart race. I kept thinking about all the stuff I'd read, all the secrets I wasn't supposed to know. I started to regret ever going on the dark web in the first place. A week later, I got a call from a restricted number. It was Agent Miller again. He told me I needed to come to their office for a debriefing. I had no idea what that meant, but I didn't have much of a choice. They sent a car to pick me up, and soon enough, I was sitting in a cold, sterile room with a one-way mirror on one wall. Agent Miller and Agent Davis were there, along with a third person, someone higher up the chain. They started grilling me about everything, how I found the documents, what I'd read, if I'd shared any of the information. It felt like hours. They weren't rough, but they were relentless. I kept telling them the truth, that I hadn't shared anything with anyone, that I didn't even fully understand what I'd stumbled upon. Finally, they seemed to believe me. But then came the kicker. They told me that what I'd done was still a serious breach, and there would be consequences. They said I could either cooperate with them fully and help them find out who leaked the documents in the first place, or I'd be facing charges that could land me in prison for a long time. I was terrified, but knew I had no other option. I agreed to help. They gave me a new laptop, one that was rigged to monitor everything I did, and told me to go back to the dark web and retrace my steps. They wanted me to find out who was behind the leak, who had posted the documents. It was nerve-wracking. I felt like I was walking on a tightrope, one misstep away from falling into an abyss. I spent hours every day on forums, using encrypted chat rooms, and following leads. Agent Davis was my main point of contact, and he checked in regularly, guiding me, giving me pointers on what to look for. After weeks of digging, I finally got a lead. There was a user who went by the name Shadow Broker, who seemed to be at the center of it all. He was elusive, but with the agency's help, we managed to track him down to a specific server. It turned out he was part of a larger network of hackers who specialized in stealing and selling classified information. The day we made the breakthrough, Agent Miller and Davis came to my apartment again, this time with a team of tech experts. They moved in quickly, tracing the digital breadcrumbs I'd helped uncover. Within hours, they had enough evidence to take down Shadow Broker and his entire operation. I thought that would be the end of it, but there was one final twist. As a thank you for my cooperation, the agency offered me a deal. They said I could either go back to my normal life, with the understanding that I'd never speak of this again, or I could join them as a consultant, using my skills to help prevent future breaches. It wasn't an easy decision, but in the end, I chose the latter. It's been a crazy ride, and some days, I still can't believe how it all started with a random night of browsing the dark web. But now, I'm using my curiosity for something good, helping to keep the country's secrets safe. And let me tell you, real-life spy work, it's even crazier than you'd think.